A few weeks ago, the lovely people over at Paper Republic reached out to me and asked if I would like to try one of their journals. And I had a quick little research and to see what the company was all about, although I had obviously heard of Paper Republic because I get quite a few of their adverts coming up in my feed. And I just said, yes, by all means, send me over a journal. And they did. Now, they did ask if what type I would like, what size, etc. And I chose the A4 size. Now, the A4 size was purely for me being a little bit nostalgic. Back in the day when I first started working, I had this gorgeous A4 weekly planner that sat on my desk. And I thought, well, why not? Most of the journals that come around are A5 or often like A6. They're usually quite small. But I thought, no, let's go full fat. Let's go for the big A4 journal because I had a little idea about how you could use one of these journals. As I was going through the Paper Republic website to see what kind of inserts they have for their journals, I came across their weekly planner, or their annual planner if you like, because it's one planner. Now the great thing about this planner, I'm going to show you here on the screen because it's quite personal, it's my real genuine weekly plan. You may have come across my weekly planning matrix. This is here. This is a 4-square matrix. Over here you put your core work, the work that's really important to you. Over here it's projects and issues. So what projects do you need to work on and any issues that need to resolve. Down here is my personal, so anything related to my personal life. And here is the radar for things that I don't actually have to do, but I do need to be aware of. So this is like a grid. This is a dot grid piece of paper. But down here are the 7 days, the next 7 days. So what I can do is once I've completed this side, written out my matrix and got everything written down, I can actually then plot out the days that I'm going to do this work. Now, the thing is, I won't put in my appointments in here simply because appointments come and they change. I may have, when I look at my calendar at the weekly planning, I may have all my coaching slots booked up for the week, but by the time I get to Tuesday or Wednesday, some of those have cancelled, some of them have rescheduled, and there's gaps. And I don't want to be going back to this and removing things. My thinking behind this is once I've done the weekly plan matrix, where I brainstorm what needs to be done, I can then plot it out on the weekly calendar. Now the weekly calendar just goes from Monday down to Sunday, which is down here, the weekend. I work weekends, but weekends is just one slot. But really down here, the red ones are the things that I need to be aware of. They are actual physical appointments. In this case, it's the cleaner is coming on these days. And on this one, I actually have to post my YouTube video. So I put that in red ink. Now, for those of you in the fountain pen world, this is my Alfred Dunhill sidecar. All Paper Republic paper is fountain pen friendly and it is beautifully smooth to write on. So you can actually create basically a binder or a journal with all the things that you actually want to keep in here. Now, as I say, I've gone for the A4, which for many of you may be too big, particularly if you're moving around from office to office or you're out and about in the world. You could get the A5 or the B6 size. B6 size would be a lot smaller. It's almost like a pocket notebook. The A5 is just like your traditional notebook. And it's very much built on what I would recognize as the, I think it's the traveler's journal type of thing, type of notebook, whereby you can just put in your insert. So essentially what you've got is you've got a I'm going to show you this. It's got a nice little band here which runs through, that was a bit loud, runs through to the back, and then you can just move that over here and then you can carry it. Now the good thing about these leather, gorgeous, they smell gorgeous, these binders is that you can, or the folders, you can, it makes things look a lot more professional than carrying around just a basic A4 notebook. Now, for those of you who found the Smythson notebooks a little bit out of your price range, which I would guess is for most of us, then these are very reasonably priced. And so you can have a look on their website and see what they do or how much those prices are. You can configure your journal in any way you like. They're just wonderful, and you can get them personalized. They actually, Paper Republic personalized the one that they sent me. But as I say, what I like, another thing that I like about these, and this was something that I had a problem with travelers notebooks, is that when I'm doing I can do project planning in here too. It folds completely flat. The paper is sewn in, it's not glued in. So you can see that the paper is sewn in and it folds completely flat on your table, which just makes planning and working on projects so much easier. It is a superb little tool, not excessively expensive, but certainly obviously more expensive than a regular A4 notebook that you could buy at a stationery store. However, what you're buying is quality. And as I say, these notebooks are just superb. Now, I'm pretty sure that you actually get a blank, unlined notebook with whatever binder you use. Then you need to actually choose what inserts you want to put into here. I chose, as I say, the calendar for the year because I have this idea that being able to plot out my week, as I've done here, when I'm doing the weekly planning, it means I can just go to a cafe and I can just map out my week and determine what are the most important things to me. It gets you away from the screen, and it's just a superb way of being able to slow down and actually think about your planning. Now, I should point out that Paper Republic did not sponsor this video. They've not sent me any money. All they did was they sent me a journal to use and to play with. And as I say, I did have this idea that this would be the perfect weekly planning tool. One of the great things about doing your weekly planning on paper is that over time you have a record of what you've been doing. Now, I started this a week or so ago, and it's been very, very interesting as to see what did I do. So when I come to do my next weekly plan, all I have to do is turn the page, go down my weekly planning matrix and see, yep, I've had a very productive week. I got all the most important things done. And that's what I really like about this. Rather than doing my weekly plan in my planning book, my project book, as I call it, I can now actually do my weekly planning in this journal. It looks tremendous. I think this color is the petrol color, if I remember correctly. And oh, I tell you now, it is such a nice size to do a weekly plan. As I say, not all of you are going to like the A4 size. It is a bit big, and if you're moving around a lot, then it's not a great size. I would go for the A5 size. It's a bit more compact and it's more carryable. Carryable? Is that a word? Anyway, as I say, I wanted to do this quick review on the Paper Republic. The good news is they are fountain pen friendly, although I find that it does absorb the ink very quickly, and therefore the line is a little bit thicker than it would be on, say, Tomorrow River paper, where the line is what I would describe as true to nib size. This makes your nib a little bit wider, but it doesn't ghost. It doesn't have those spidery things. You know, there's no there's no writing that comes through on the other side. It is just such a really good quality paper, completely flat on the desk. And it does make planning the week such a superb tool. And I've got quite used to it. I've done it for a couple of weeks. Admittedly, there's more weeks to come, but I'm actually quite excited now that I have a calendar, just a planner on the left-hand side. I have blank paper on the right-hand side where I can start my weekly plan. I can do the actual matrix, and then I can get on and plan out the week, map out the week as to what I'm going to do and when. So there you go. That's my review of the Paper Republic journals. They are superb. I really do like them. I'm pretty sure this is going to become my weekly planning book. Now, I know you can argue that you've got, well, how many notebooks do you need? Well, really, you only need one. However, I do like everything has its own purpose. My journal, for example, is only for journaling. My pocket notebook is for just capturing those little ideas as and when they pop up when I'm on the sofa and I just don't want to be looking at my phone. My project planning book is there to plan out the projects, map out projects. But my weekly planning book is great to be able to have a record of what I planned for the week and to see how I did by comparing at the end of the week what I've done and what I haven't done. It also will alert me to things that I'm avoiding, and I can then ask the questions, why am I not doing that particular thing? So there you go. Paper Republic, I'll put all the details in the show notes below. As I say, they're not sponsoring this video, but they did send me a free sample, if you like, to play with. I have been very impressed. It is a nice, well-made, beautiful leather journal on the table, and you can put in as your own inserts into these books and use them for whatever you want to use them for. If you want to learn more about my project planning book, or even the way that I map out my projects, then this video up here is definitely the one to watch next.